Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Quantum Leap Futures Morning Leap session for Monday, October the 29th, 2018. My name is Doug McKay. I'm the founder of Quantum Leap Futures. Each morning we get together in these live go-to sessions to take a look at the market, macro to micro, take a look at the structure of the market. Then we drill down to our trade levels, our targets, and our hypotheses for the day. Our hypotheses are our trade plans. We do create multiple trade plans. We do not try to predict what the market's going to do. We create scenarios based on what could happen depending on who takes control. Then we wait for the market to open up, see who seizes control, and then execute the plan that best suits the market. This is a subscription room. If you're interested in checking it out, send me an email at quantumleapfutures@gmail.com. There's no website. There's no blog. We do everything here in the go-to. This is not a commercial venture. We do live trading and analysis during the course of the regular trading day in the go-to as well. Please read through the disclaimer. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Any trades that you see in Quantum Leap are for education purposes only. Please trade your own due diligence, your own trade plan, and your own risk metrics. So looking at Friday, Friday we were looking for a balancing day with a downward skew. And for the most part, that's what we got. And then we got down to our key line in the sand, and at 27.50, we one-ticked it, and then we put in a FUBAR Mr. Sneaky, and that FUBAR Mr. Sneaky was probably the trade of the day. In fact, I mean, you look at it here. Here's a perfect example of a FUBAR Mr. Sneaky and a 21.5 point rotation. Here's another good example of a FUBAR Mr. Sneaky and then a 30.5 point rotation. So you had really two really good trades on Friday, but this would have been the best trade. You could have held this for the full range, and held it for what 65 plus points. But again, we were looking for balance, and once they came back into the prior day value, they were unable to hold that value, and they rotated back down and fell out of balance again, put a higher low in, and then came back, and we closed just inside of the prior day range. So pretty balanced day, but very, very, very wide balance. In fact, a very, very wide value area. So again, we're finding some buyers down here, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. Take a look at the news. I forgot to open the news. Hold on a second. So news today, it's a lot of the news overnight was out of Germany. Merkel is not going to run again, but she is going to run out her current term. In terms of scheduled news today, we really don't have a lot. We've got Dallas Fed manufacturing at 10:30. We've got the 3-month and the 6-month at 11:30. Tentative Dallas Fed, and then 2 o'clock we have loan officer survey. So not a lot of scheduled news today. Taking a look at the macro to micro, I always start my day, same routine. I pull up a simple candlestick chart with a 9 EMA, 20 SMA. I'm looking for where we are in the trend. I start with the monthly, work my way down. I'm looking for slope and separation, price paralleling the 9 for strength of trend. And then I'm looking for where the trend is being challenged by the test of the 9 or a break of the 9, and violation and possible trend change with the break of the 9 and the 20. You can see that we have a very wide range so far this month, 317.5 points. The largest day, or the largest month, going all the way back to October 2008. October 2008, when we had that sell-off down to the 665, 666. People say 666, but it was actually 665.75. That was 349 points. So October, 10 years later, we're putting in the same type of move, and we've already gone 317.50, and we're near the low, and the low is the 26.27 and a quarter. That was put in last week. So we are still at the lower end of this, so we could see some further expansion. But for the most part, we bounced off of the 9 EMA or the 20 SMA, and we're working our way back, and we're about 4 points away from trying to break back into the 2700. Our overnight high actually is 2775. Going to the weekly. Again, we're still below the 9 and the 20, but we're getting, again, a possible FUBAR Mr. Sneaky. Now, this one failed. This one would take us back up into the 27.75 area to test the 9 from below. But for the most part, the trend is, we are possibly seeing a trend change on the weekly. On the daily, you can see that we do have trend to the downside. We've got good slope, good separation. Every time we retest the 9 EMA, we fail. A retest of it will take us up into the 27.2675. And remember that the microcomposite VPOC for the year is that 27.2750. So a retest of that would simply test the 9 from below on the daily, but the trend is down on the daily right now. On the 4 hour, you can see that we have had a pretty decent trend down, good slope, good separation, and now we've in the Globex and Sunday we gapped down overnight, and now we've rallied and we're back above the 9 and the 20, so they are challenging the trend on the 4 hour. On the 30-minute, we have broken back above, and we're starting a possible upward trend. We do have a naked cross down here at 26.68 and a quarter. So just keep a eye on that as a possible return if we fail to hold outside of the prior day range. Taking a look at the Globex, or let's take a look at the structure first. So just to put this in context, we gap up out of this prior balance down here, and then we have this incredible run up into 89. They come all the way back down. They test a former microcomposite VPOC, and then we just start stair-stepping back up, and then we go in and put the new all-time highs in, and then we fail to hold up here. We come back into balance. We come down and we bounce off of the microcomposite VPOC the first time and fail to continue. We fall back through, and now we're back down in this distribution area between the 2750 and the 2693 area, and we've found our buyers, and we've broken above what's going to be our over-under line today, and are coming back up into the 4-day balance where we tried to hold last week at the 2707 area with the 2750 just above. So we want to watch this 93. If we can stay above the 93, the key target above today is the 2707 area. If we can't hold above the 93, then we're getting back inside of Friday's range, and I'd be looking for a move back down towards the 77.75 area, and possibly even down to test the 58, 57 area, which is the value area low of this microcomposite. Key is whether or not this key line in the sand, which is down here at the 2750. It's actually now our key support number, and we do not want to see that 2750. If we can hold the 2750, I think we're just going to chop in this area with an upward grind towards that 2750. Overnight inventory is pretty mixed. You know, we opened up, we rallied, then we came back down. We spent a lot of time down below the open. We're about 60% net positive, but the key here is, you know, we got into the European session, and the European session rallied. And this is a multi-distribution trend type scenario that sort of was late to start, and you know, actually changed during the European session. And here we are creating an upper distribution above the 92.75 and waiting to see if we get a VPOC shift up and see if value shifts above the prior day. Right now, our, excuse me for a second. Sorry about that. Right now, our VPOC is down inside of Friday's, near Friday's VPOC, down in this this wide value area, but we've broken out of that value area. So in terms of levels, you know, currently right now where we're below the high. The high is 27. The high is 2775. Our over underline is going to be the high of the day on Friday, and that key CLVN 92.75. Inside of that, the target, believe it or not, is going to be down here at this 80.75. You can see that there was a lot of volume that went off at that 80.50 level, and then, you know, below that, we're looking at 67 and a move down to test the value area and come down into this really blunt value that runs from the value area high 72 and a quarter, value area low 44.50. So 44 and a quarter is going to be our key line in the sand below. We don't want to break below the value, and then the key support, or the key line in the sand, which was 27.50, now becomes our key support. And you know, there's another one down here at 26.10, but right now this is shifting up. So our overnight low is at 60. Our full session daily ATR is running at 51.61. That's the full session average true range. So our off of our overnight low, our upside daily ATR target is 27.1175, and off of the overnight high, our downside daily ATR is down at 26.49 and a quarter. That's also a trade level. I'm going to put it in at 50 so you can see it, but that's another you know, big area for us to watch for a possible move down into a trip right through value into the value area low and the key line in the sand. So in terms of hypotheses, because we had such a strong move off of that 2750, you know, I'm looking for a balancing day with an upward skew. So I'm looking for hypo 1 is going to be a open auction out of range, a move down into the 85 to 72 area, and I'm looking for buyers to step in here, rotate us up through the overnight high into the naked VPOC and up to the 3-day balance up in the 2707.75. That is my hypo 1. Hypo 2 is a open auction out of range, a push up into the 2700, failed to hold the 2700s, and somewhere between 2700 and 2708. I'm looking for responsive buyers to rotate, to come in, rotate us down into the prior day range and come down here into the overnight low and the naked VPOC down here in the 63 and 60 area. That is hypo 2. Hypo 3 is a trend day up, and that is failure to close the gap, a move up into the 2700, and a push all the way up into the 2750 area and chop around up there. That is hypo 3. Hypo 4 is a breakdown day, failure to get above the 2700, rotate down into the value area, take a trip through value down into the key line in the sand below at 44, break and push lower and come down in here to test the 2610 level. That is hypo 4. And then hypo 5, which is actually fairly probable, is we have a inside day. We open up just outside a range, but we come inside and we basically just chop, okay, between the 63 and the 2700. And basically, I really think we're going to spend some time down in this area right here and fight the 2700 as we fill in the profile in around that 2700. So that's what I'm looking at for my hypotheses for ES. Moving over to gold. And of course, my profile is not there. I lost all my profiles on the weekend. I closed my computer down and it did not save. So, balance is still around that 1230 area. We failed at the test of that 45 we were talking about on Friday that we needed to get above. We're back inside of this value. Nothing's really changed. We're flagging here and we're chopping around the 30 to 32 area. Key levels to pay attention to: 38 above and 28 below, and the extension would be down to 25 below and another move back up to test this 45. And we're waiting to see whether or not this flag fails and we come back down to test the 1200 again and back to the balance we just broke out of, or we break out of above the 45 and continue up towards this 65, 66 area, which is our next big destination above. So that's going to complete our pre-market session. As always, trade well, trade safe, and we'll catch you on the flip side.